sense to put the vampires on life support when what you need to do is put the patient on life support. So how do you put the patient on life support? You create jobs, you create prosperity, you create what Obama likes to call ladders of opportunity, and you get rid of all of these vampires and all of these parasites. But Obama, he doesn't understand that. And the average quote-unquote professional economist is never going to tell you that, because why? Because they are involved neck deep in the system, which they are supposedly analysts of, but they're making their money up at the top by having all the dupes on the bottom. So their whole thing is they want to keep the masses duped. They are the vampires too. So you get on the internet, you go get your financial advice, and you think maybe you're getting some good advice from somebody, right? But what you don't realize is the whole entire game, the whole thing is built as a pyramid scheme. Only the people who are in at the top make money in the market, because they know how the market's going to be manipulated. Everybody else is at a casino, and the house always wins. So, in order to solve that problem, right, you have to truly understand it. Obama doesn't understand it. The Democrats don't understand it. Because they don't understand it, they can't solve it. So, the only thing that really saves us, the only thing that is a saving grace that allows us to actually solve the problems, is the truth. The truth is the power that sets us free. The truth is the power that allows us to solve these problems together in a real way. And the truth is a real beautiful thing, because with the truth, we can have an economic boom. We can have technology 2.0. We can have civilization 2.0. And we can have a genuine functional democracy. And not only that, but we can have corporations even, which work, which function, which do what corporations should do. The truth is what's missing from the Republicans, from the Democrats, from everybody else, from the entire conversation. And so what we need to do is we need to go in search of the truth. We need to quit being party to misinformation and disinformation. We need to actually quit letting people tell us what to think and how to think and where to go for our information, and start really, really working on getting the facts for ourselves. Now, in order to do that, the real place that I started personally is with textbooks. When you read a textbook or 5 on civil engineering, a textbook or 5 on sociology, and a textbook or 5 on psychology, and a textbook or 5 on formal conversational logic, suddenly it's very, very hard to lie to you anymore. Suddenly you have the solutions and the knowledge and the understanding that you can apply towards solving these real-world problems. So that is what I am advocating. I'm advocating having all of us become a knowledge society instead of being an anti-intellectual society, instead of being, in some senses, a negative society based on intentional disinformation and misinformation. What I'm trying to have us do is kind of come together and learn what the truth and what the facts are. And the solutions are out there. They really do exist. They really, they can be found, and it's not even necessarily that hard to find them. You want to do a cost-benefit analysis of the different forms of energy? Get out your calculator, go do 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours of research. And if you come to National Initiative for Democracy, I've already done most of that research for you. So then all you really have to do is get out your calculator, start plugging in the numbers, and you can find out for yourself very quickly what the cost-benefit analysis is for the different kinds of energy. So they're keeping people ignorant by making it seem like it's even harder to get information than it actually is, and diabolizing anybody who has information and saying, oh, all those people, they're a bunch of eggheads, are dupes. And I'm sorry if that is impacting you and you don't want to hear it. Oh no, I'm not a dupe. I'm a smart person and I have a lot of common sense. Well, if you're voting Republican, if you're listening to Rush Limbaugh and actually believing a word he has to say, you're being duped. You're being lied to, and you're selling democracy for corporate oligarchy. Now, I'm an equal opportunity truth artist, and I'm not going to tell you the Democrats are that much better, because they aren't. The truth about the Democrats is they may not be professional liars, but they're not going out of their way to solve the problems either, and they don't, in general, have the solutions to the problems. You look at Obama, and, I voted for Obama, and I wanted him to get in. My first pick was Dennis Kucinich, and after that I had a couple of other people I'd rather see get in. Maybe Mike Gravel. But, I voted for Obama, and I have a lot of respect for the guy. And yet, at the same time, Obama clearly does not know energy science. Obama clearly does not understand the fundamentals of economics. Obama clearly does not understand the depth, truths, and facts and knowledge which should enable him and empower him to solve his problems in a real way. When you got a Republican rally where everybody's going, drill, baby, drill, drill, baby, drill. If you know what the truth is about energy, it's really, really easy to turn that over on the Republicans and make them look like the real idiots that they are. Because when you know how other forms of power compare to fossil fuels, you know that fossil fuels are nonsensical. You know that they're primitive, and you know that the other kinds of energy we have available to us completely way better than any kind of fossil fuels. Unfortunately, Obama didn't know that, and so he wasn't able to turn it around. So in a way, it was a very sad loss for him. When you look at economics, it's even worse, okay? We are spending billions of dollars up to the rich. The biggest transfer of wealth from the middle class and the poor to the rich in the history of our nation just happened in order to bail out the banks. I have news for you, Obama, and everybody else. The smartest possible thing we can do for all of those banks and General Motors and anybody else is to confess to ourselves that those people are vampires. They don't give us anything. General Motors is intentionally giving us cars that were obsolete 70 years ago. Right? We don't need them. They're the evil jerks. They are the vampires sucking the life out of our economy. So if the economy is failing, if our civilization is dying because its economy is in such bad shape, you don't put the vampires on life support. You don't put the parasites on life support. You don't give the vampires and the parasites billions and billions of more dollars to prop them up. No. You stake each one of those vampires through the heart, you chop it into 50 pieces, and you bury it in 20 different locations, and then you start over. And that is the real solution to the economic problem. The more money we throw out at the rich, the further into the hole we really are going. The only way to get out of the hole is to bring the money back to the middle class and back to the poor people. Otherwise, there's no more blood left in the system to soak. Basically what you have is a pyramid scheme with vampires. You've got vampires attached to the back of our civilization, sucking out the blood of money and funds and resources, right? And so you pull the vampires off and you stake them. You don't feed them more money. You don't give them more cash. You don't save the vampires, right? That's crazy. We're practically out of blood. The reason why the vampires are dying is there's no more blood left to suck, right? It doesn't make